Luke, it's almost Mobile World Congress time.
Yeah, it is. We've been seeing a whole bunch of stuff lately. Little phones popping up. Mm-hmm. Some stuff we can talk about, some we can't.
Exciting things.
Yeah.
It's the some of the phones that we're getting are coming from brands that we wouldn't have received a year ago, 2 years ago. But it was kind of where we've been heading all along in terms of the types of coverage that we do.
Yeah.
With, kind of like buyer's guides and unlocked phones and seeing that, that was kind of like the way to go years ago.
Yeah.
Getting it from your carrier, if you can avoid doing that, that's the first recommendation I would make anybody. If they say, hey, I'm looking for a new phone, the first thing I'm going to say is try not to buy it from your carrier.
Right.
Because there are a lot of exciting phones out there that you can find with just a little bit of work. And I think the subject of unlocked phones doesn't seem as taboo or scary.
Yeah, it's not as strange. I mean, I think because it used to be, unlocking your phone used to be tied to your carrier.
Yeah.
Most people in at least the U.S., obviously, is... you have a phone on a certain service plan and you get the phone from that carrier and it only works on that carrier.
Yep.
Whether or not it was made to work on any, GSM network, now we know that that's a thing. Mm-hmm. But before it was very much tied to the companies not wanting you to be able to jump ship with a handset that they gave you at a discount.
Right.
But yeah, now it's more of a normal thing. People have kind of gotten used to that. I'm buying this and then I'm choosing what to use for service.
And I think maybe early on with smartphones there was a lot of conflation between jailbreaking and unlocking.
Sure. And
not knowing what that means and am I going to do something that requires some technical know-how, some savvy,
right.
Is this legal?
Does this void my warranty if I unlock my phone?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. So that I think has kind of just cleared up over the years. Mm-hmm. So there's probably, I think we've got 4 or 5 phones here that we'll be talking about in the coming weeks. Some of the reviews and hands-on time, and very shortly we will actually publish a couple of videos of some phones that we've spent some time with.
Yeah.
And some pretty interesting stuff. Actually, we can talk about one in particular, the Realme 9 series, the 9 Pro and the 9 Pro Plus.
Yep.
You've been playing with the Sunrise Blue.
I have.
And that's the Pro Plus.
Yes.
A little bit smaller device. 6.4 inch as compared to like the 6.6.
Yep.
$380 phone.
Yeah.
Now, you in your review, you pointed out even telling me about how coverage wasn't quite the same.
Sure.
Even though you do have 5G or good signal in most places, there are some pockets that. So there is some qualification and buyer beware when it comes to buying your phone that way.
Yep.
But more and more we're seeing phone makers who are releasing devices with global bands.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yep.
So without diving into your review, what do you think of the 9 Pro Plus?
I'm very surprised by it, especially if you just gave me the phone and I messed around with it and saw the features of it. It would be impressive compared to, because I was coming from Pixel 6 Pro. It would doesn't really miss much.
Sure.
I'm missing some of that processing speed, I think. And some of the GSM band switching and some of the service is different. Handset to handset, still same service provider, just different signal strength. But when you then tell me the price of it, it gets a whole lot more impressive to me. It's a very cool phone. It's very, very much can handle any situation for anybody. And I think the thing that really feels good but maybe feels bad a little bit is how good the camera is compared to my Pixel.
It shouldn't be that close.
No, it shouldn't be that close. and it shouldn't.
It's a testament to this phone as well as a claim against the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro in terms of what it doesn't provide. Right. There is nothing as good as this on the market experience where I had that confidence all the way up through 5. And when I would review any other phone, one of the things if I'm using a Pixel as my daily driver, I'm going to continue to carry that around because when I want to capture something, I'm reaching for that phone. The 6 has made it so that I'm not so beholden to that device.
Right.
I'm putting my SIM in other phones and saying, hey, I'll be back later for this thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it's got some games or some things on it that I'm using kind of on a regular basis, but I'm okay with it at minimum a sidestep in terms of quality.
Yep.
And what we're seeing in some of these other phone makers are the near stock experience with some extras that don't slow the phone down or make it ugly and feel like, hey, why can't you just leave it alone?
Right.
But there are some extras in there that, like in the camera, you'll see some AI filters and some color things to do as you take the photo that are just kind of nice to have.
Yeah.
And they're a breath of fresh air. So I like this time of year.
Yeah.
Because it start to look at other things and go, oh man, it's another flagship. This company's phone is $300 less. And to your point about how the 9 Pro stands up when you look at the price, that's kind of where I had been for a long time with the Pixel A.
The A series, yeah.
Once that was introduced, that became kind of my favorite phone.
Sure.
Because of everything I could do with it at that price. You then had to start to convince me or talk me into spending the extra money to get the flagship one. Right. Because the junior flagship is just as good for me and for a lot of people.
Right.
So when people say, hey, what's a good phone for me? Or I'm looking to replace my whatever phone, I usually tell people to start with that Pixel A. So I'm hoping that a Pixel 6a comes about and makes me get that confidence back in that overall value proposition.
Yeah.
Because, man, I was so excited for the 6.
Me too.
And I just don't feel so proud of it.
No, it's a great device.
Right.
Some of the smarts that they added into it, the predictive text kind of stuff, the or speech to text stuff. A lot of that stuff is awesome, and a lot of the camera improvements were needed. With the true skin toning and some of the kind of comping out things. Like those are cool features, but those are features to add to an existing working platform, and it feels like they focused on that stuff and let the camera quality deteriorate because they were spreading themselves too thin. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, it feels like they got in their own way by adding these things that.
But maybe to do some of that stuff, they couldn't put some of the things in it that they had. And if that's fine, just come out and say that.
Sure.
I think that's the weird thing is that there's been nothing from Google saying, hey, we know the camera's not quite what it was. Yeah. Here's why.
Yep.
And I doubt we'll ever get that.
Right. A couple other quibbles of things that, as I compare this phone for this price to the Pixel 6, are the speed at which it unlocks with the fingerprint reader.
Yes. And face unlock.
And face unlock. And the fact that some of these other phones are just that much quicker to just unlock the second you pick it up without this kind of like light up my thumb and read it. Oh, let me try again. There we go.
Right.
That doesn't sound like much, but when you're checking your phone all day, it's a pain in the butt.
It really is.
It's like wearing a pair of pants that are just a little bit too long.
Right.
You can do it.
You'll get used to them, but then once you wear ones that aren't, you go, oh, wait.
This is how it feels to walk around in my bare feet and not step on the bottom of my pants. Right. So it's just, there are inconveniences that are kind of like the sum of them. Just look at it and go, oh, man, you were the chosen one. This is the one that I was, so excited for.
But there's a lot of really cool things coming out.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good time to be a phone enthusiast.
Yeah. I mean, we just came from like the big, trendsetter, pacemaker of the year, Samsung.
Yep.
The Galaxy S22 series.
Yep.
But then now we'll start to see things from another Motorola phone, Xiaomi, Poco, Realme, Blue. You know, it's just kind of like, hey, no matter what your budget is or what your needs are, there's something fun coming, and that's what Mobile World Congress is. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be back, and we've got a couple things to unbox or to kind of hands-on share with you guys. We've got a handful of things that work with Google's Nest line of products, and we've also got some kind of a box for your private items. Things to kind of keep things safe and secure and away from anybody getting into it. So we'll be right back.
See you.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yep.
Let's dive into some products. We have a few things here. This is all from one particular brand, Wasserstein or Stein. I don't know which. I'll go with whatever you want to do with here.
Wasserstein?
Wasserstein it is.
Seems like. But yeah, this is all stuff that's made to use with your Nest system.
Yeah, so this, I did look at their website to see they provide a whole bunch of accessories for different ecosystems. So if you've got an Arlo or you have some other type of security system or camera or doorbell, they make accessories for those to kind of give you a little bit more flexibility out of them. One of the things for Google Nest with the cameras, and I've seen more recently on headlines of things like the doorbell, is that it doesn't work. The battery goes quicker in this really cold weather than what it initially thought it would be. But one of the things that you run into with cameras is you've got to change your battery.
Right.
Unless you've got a hardwired one or you're an indoor camera, you've got to go out there and change that battery or charge it every so often. So that's kind of a pain point, especially in the middle of the winter when you go out and it's, around here it's 6 degrees, or tomorrow it's 60, whatever. But so here's one in particular product that you've got, the solar panel for the Google Nest Cam.
Yeah, so this solar panel it's interesting because it doesn't look like most solar panels. There's no like cross grid. Like you can see it underneath if you hold it in the right light, but it's just a solid black. So that's kind of a cool look. And then you got your connector that it just slides into here, and then you have your screw to tighten for whatever swivel when you mount it on your house. And it comes with the
screws and anchors,
and then a couple of pre-adhesed cable management.
Yep.
So if you want to, and this looks like a very long cable,
13 feet.
That's a good amount of cable.
Yeah. So for me, I have one of these cameras, and I have to get up there to get it down, and it has a proprietary little plug.
Right.
So this cable has that adapter on it. These are official, like, made for Google Nest products. So these are not some generic knockoff company or somebody trying to piggyback off of somebody else. I would love the 13-foot cable, because where I have the camera isn't always in the sun, because it kind of, the way the house folds, and I kind of watch over a certain area. So for something like that, I can
put it somewhere else.
So I can plug directly into the camera, run it up around the corner, and then I can have that thing pointing at the sky.
Perfect.
To pick up the sun.
So you won't have to change the battery anymore.
And you don't have to change the battery anymore. So that is
pretty awesome.
Premium solar panel for the Google Nest Cam. That guy runs about $74 to $80, I think, on their website.
Okay. I mean, that's very similar to an extra battery for almost anything else you would use.
Yeah, an extra battery and charger that you kind of swap out on a regular basis.
It's very well made. It's all enclosed, so you're not going to have any problem with moisture or anything like that.
Yep.
Very cool.
What you got next?
Well, we have next is the angled stand with swivel, and this is for a Nest Hub Max.
All right.
You have the hub, right?
I do. My whole house is set up with Google stuff.
Nice.
Save for one Alexa product that
we don't speak of.
We don't speak of, and we hate when she picks us up because we're not talking to her ever. So yeah, this guy's made for the Nest Hub Max, and you can see that basically it's a riser.
Yeah.
That keeps your hub up. So instead of sitting there...
Well, it gives you some swivel, too.
Gives you some swivel. Does it have any angle to it?
Yep.
So
it's got a little bit of angle. It's really nice because, now I will say this, the feel of this is not as tight as I would hope.
Okay.
But maybe that's because the weight of the Max would...
Yeah.
Help balance that out.
Right. It's a 25-degree tilt, according to their website, and a 360 rotation.
Okay.
And then you can see, of course, on the bottom, that's got some cord management.
Yeah, some nice cable management stuff.
Yeah, you plug that in. I've had similar things for some of the older generation, and these are nice because you can kind of move this in a place that sits in a corner a little bit better than just actually on the ground.
Yep.
And it keeps, if you have spills or anything like that, this kind of gives you
a little bit of safe.
1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches up to keep that from getting wet.
It does have some pre-installed adhesive for the back to help keep your hub up here secure, so that's cool. No matter which way you tilt it, I could see if it wasn't attached, if you go to tilt it down a little bit, you could maybe pull it off. But that's cool. It's a sweet idea for a desk setup or a kitchen, especially.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
cool
where
idea.
My first one was in the kitchen. Kind of had it up, that kind of tilted around our stove. So instead of being like snug against the wall, we kind of had this base and up, kind of tilted at us. So we're kind of like looking maybe down a little bit at it. So that guy runs about $26 to $30.
Not bad.
26 to $28, I think, on their website.
Okay.
And it comes in. This is like a gray, and then it also comes in a charcoal.
Nice.
So that definitely matches the same color.
Yeah.
And the aesthetics of what Google has on theirs.
Right.
Chalk. That's the color.
Chalk.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good weight, too. It's not too heavy. Next up, we have an adjustable stand for the Nest Hub 2nd Gen. So, slightly smaller.
Pretty much the same premise here.
Same idea.
Yep. So, the Nest Hub 2nd Gen is the guy that I believe is the one that had the sleep sensing and some of that newer tech. This guy is, he is a smaller, designed, for bedrooms, countertops, not obviously as big, but just as practical for people.
Absolutely.
So if you've got one of the smaller ones, the Nest Hub, same premise here. So this one is going to run about $25 on their website.
Also comes in the charcoal color as well as this chalk.
Yep.
Still got cable management on the bottom and some adhesive strips up top to keep it in line. And I will say that this does feel stronger.
Doesn't have as much.
Feels a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
So
I wonder if that's something you can tighten.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see a spot for a screw on the bottom, but it's noticeably different size. Not that bad, really, but it's almost like identical products, just shrunk down.
You got one more, right?
Got one more. This one's cool because it's one of those things that I never really thought of, but it would make sense to the right person. This is a wall plate for your doorbell. Kind of makes it a little bit more
aesthetically pleasing up front.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with changing your doorbell at all, sometimes if you're taking off your old one, you're going to run into a hole. Maybe they cut if you have an aluminum wrapped front door or something, there's a hole, and then your Nest doorbell or whatever doorbell is smaller than what was there before, or and it just looks
or
unsightly.
Faded, if there's like a fade from overtime.
What this does is just a faceplate that covers it up to keep it just hidden. Any old inner workings hidden.
Buys about a 3/4 of an inch or so extra around it.
Yep.
So it goes against the wall, and then you mount your doorbell on top of that.
Yep. And it's got a perfect spot. Same, the holes line up in the same spot as the Nest mounting holes.
Yep.
It's all the same. So it's just an extra piece that goes in when you're putting it together. There's no extra installation needed, which I think is why it's such a cool thing.
Yep.
So it just works.
That guy runs about $13.
Not bad.
Yeah. So definitely worth it if you're coming home every day and you're staring at some kind of a couple of scuff marks around your old spot,
and you don't want to repaint
tighter.
everything, or it's just, hey, this is an easy fix to make it just look better.
Yeah. So these are all from Wasserstein, we agreed on.
Yep.
Again, if you look at their website, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. They've got indoor, outdoor cameras.
Yep.
They have stuff for wired and wireless devices, Google Nest, Amazon Alexa, or the Echo Show. Thermostats, pretty much, if you have one of those types of smart devices and you're looking to kind of accessorize or maybe get a little bit more flexibility out of it, definitely check out their website. We'll have that link in the description. I don't want to spell it out, but it's Wasserstein-home.com. So,
cool.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, no problem.
This guy's a little bit of a niche product.
Yep.
This is the Trova Go+Plus.
Yeah.
Luke, why don't you show us the Trova Go+Plus?
Why don't you tell us what it is?
It's not for anything that I would necessarily use.
Sure.
But I'm sure there are plenty of people in our audience.
Well, it definitely meets a need that exists. I know that this need exists. I just
it's low-hanging fruit to make fun of.
Yeah.
It's something to just say, that's it's a hash box.
That's pretty much it. So this is it. Essentially, it's a box. It's got a USB-C port on the side, and it's got a little button here that shows you. It has an LED indicator for red when it's locked, and then you can unlock it with an app.
Why don't you see if you can get into that for me?
No, I can't. This is metal too.
Yeah,
it's a metal enclosed,
an aluminum alloy with a CNC finish. If you look at it closely, you can see it's got some angles to it. It's very stylish.
Does not sit flat on the desk.
It looks like it's designed to be, something you travel with.
Yeah.
If you have anything that you want to keep private,
right?
If you've got children in the house and you might have some things you need to be discreet about.
Yeah, I mean, or
put it in there,
or for travel, if you have some pills,
right, or jewelry, or anything that you would say, hey, I want to just kind of lock all this up, and
I don't necessarily trust the hotel safe or whatever. It's also hard to get this open, I guess.
So I will open this for you, Luke.
Yeah, do it.
This is the, I think it's this way. Verify. So in the app, I don't know if you can see that, there is biometric. So it's just behind my password on my phone. So once I verify myself, I got it. There we go. So it opens up.
Yep.
And you can see inside here that it has kind of like a little recessed well. There's a compartment here that if you want to put your rings on there, if you want to put money or any other items behind that, it's kind of almost the size of a pen.
And then this is the pill box or earrings or something. You can it's silicone here and then a plastic, and you can just close it up, and you can put that in there.
So then it's locked. There you go.
Yep. And then you can then just unlock it with the app.
Yep. It's going to search for it. So it connects through Bluetooth. Takes a couple minutes to just kind of basically find and pair on that. So we've been playing with it a little bit. I don't know. Let me see if I've got my Bluetooth. It's scanning for the device now. So you hit unlock, and then you just basically verify that.
That's it.
Yep. Other than that, you're not getting into it. That's a pretty good lock on that.
No, yeah, it's solid. This doesn't move at all. The movement is actually down in where the bar goes and snaps into. It's a cool device. It looks nice.
It's designed to look kind of like a charger, like a portable brick.
Yep.
It is something that doesn't beg for you to look at it. It's kind of
very nondescript.
Yeah, you want to keep it kind of discreet. You don't want to draw attention to it.
And it's strong enough that it's going to take, if you drop it or if it's in your bag and you drop your bag or something like that, it's not going to just break apart. Somebody can't necessarily just smash it open very easily. I'm sure you could smash it open eventually, but you're going to spend a good amount of time trying to get in there.
So according to the website, it says, perfect for pockets, handbags, or athletic gear. It is designed to be overlooked, mimicking a hard drive or battery. Mm-hmm. Only you know its contents. This small but essential accessory gives you worry-free mobility.
Yeah.
So the physical storage device prevents inappropriate audiences from accessing jewelry, vapes, prescription/recreational drugs, or any other private objects that require discretion.
Right.
So this is the Trova Go+Plus. This guy is available in the one color that is charcoal, and you can find that for $249 on TrovaOfficial.com. It's a pretty cool device.
It is.
It's not something that I'm going to use often
Sure.
or would use on a regular basis.
Sure.
But when it comes to traveling or just kind of keeping things, if you've got young kids that are apt to go sneaking around the house,
Yep.
you got a couple things you want to hide, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Scott.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's move into the review segment of the podcast. Luke, you've got a product?
I do.
And I've got a product.
Okay.
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
What do you have this week?
I've been messing around with the ShiftCam, the battery-enabled case, well, kind of case, I guess, cradle for a smartphone, to use it with for taking photos or videos. We unboxed it last week. Basically, how it works is your phone snaps into it, and it rotates either portrait or landscape, and you can connect Bluetooth to the device, and it gives you a shutter button.
Okay.
So you can start your recording. It has a nice hand grip, ergonomically designed, so it feels like you're holding like a handle of a camera or just something very comfortable, very solid. You're not going to shake around with it. But it also will charge your device at the same time. It gives you options for a hot shoe connection on the handle too. So if you wanted to connect like a microphone or a on-camera light or something like that, you could do that. But I've been messing around with it, taking some photos, taking some video just to see how it feels, and it feels really nice. For it's $150, and it gives you the case and cradle all in one, and a carrying case and a charging cable.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple extra bumpers and some rubber grommets in there, depending on what size phone you have, or what kind of securing you want to do to it.
Phone in and out of case.
Yep.
Different thicknesses.
Yeah, all kinds of different options for whatever you need it to do. The thing is solid. It just works.
Yeah.
It is very easy to pair. Your phone will remember it, and then when it's powered on, it'll just automatically connect if you want to set it up that way, and then it's just ready to go. And you just if you're holding, you have this nice handle, and you can support it with your other hand and just click to take a picture, or you can click to start a video, and then you have full control. You also can put that mount on a tripod.
Right.
It's got a spot for a tripod mount. So you really, if you're taking video or in a situation where you're going to be doing that all day, there's really no need to take it out of there.
Sure.
There's not like you don't have to unplug it. If the phone has wireless charging, it'll charge while you go. Or there's a C cable that'll go into the bottom so you can charge the phone from there. That doesn't get in the way of the tripod mount.
Right.
So you really have with one device, you can kind of set up a small rig for your phone to be more of a cinematically enabled device.
And, if the first thing you notice whenever you're doing video is switching from one hand to two, just the stability alone makes that video easier to watch, more compelling, even with or without the image stabilization. That gives us very intuitive, and I did play with it a little bit. I like that it's angled in a little bit instead of straight, because it doesn't...
There's no strain on your wrist.
Exactly.
Yep.
And just the idea that it has, over 6,000 milliamp hour battery on that. So it's more than a day's worth of your phone.
Yep.
So if you're using this thing to take video, to take pictures, and you're worried about depleting that, as you said, it'll charge your phone wirelessly if it's got that in there.
Yep.
And then you can also just plug directly in.
Yep.
So that's a pretty cool kind of like all-in-one experience. So that thing runs about what? How much?
$150.
Okay. Would you say that's worth it?
I do for the capabilities of a Bluetooth device that eases up shooting and kind of sets your phone in a mode to do that well, and then with a 6,000 milliamp battery, putting both of those together, I think that's a pretty safe price point. I know once you get into anything that's like prosumer or professional video, the price just skyrockets. And that still feels at that prosumer price. It doesn't feel like bloated for it being professional.
Sure.
So
and it also has an ecosystem of optional lenses too.
So with ShiftCam will do they have different cases and different a whole range of lenses from telephoto up to macro, fisheye, wide angles, all kinds of stuff that are made to work with any phone. And then they have cases specifically for iPhone that will let the lenses snap into like the case, so you don't have a universal clip. And pairing their lenses with that ShiftCam grip would be probably anything you would need to get your take your photography or videos to the next level.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the ShiftCam ProGrip Starter Kit.
Yep.
It's an all-in-one kit.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke.
No problem. One more review.
Luke, I'm going to give this one back to you.
All right, cool. I recently was messing around with two products we got from a company called Oclean. I have their X Pro electric toothbrush and the oral irrigator, which is like a rinse machine. I hadn't heard of Oclean before. Seemed like pretty cool packaging, pretty cool product design. I really like how it looks like stuff that you want to use.
Sure.
It's very much ergonomic. The oral irrigator is nice and sleek. And in practice, these things are great. I've been using the toothbrush for a couple days now. It's got a full color display, and it has different modes for brushing. I just keep it on the normal one, and it does a 2-minute timer. So you basically hit start, and it does just a kind of a vibrating, and you just brush like normal. And after 2 minutes, it just stops.
Okay.
So the idea is you just make sure you brush long enough. And it's got a countdown. The only thing that maybe would be helpful is maybe like a beep when it's like 30 seconds or like a 10-second beep timer or
Yeah,
something.
30, so you can do like quadrants.
Yeah.
Upper left, upper right.
Right.
Yeah.
After a couple days of use, you can kind of get used to the timing, but I still find myself every once in a while pausing and trying to cheat and look at the time,
Sure.
In the mirror or something because if you take it out of your mouth covered in toothpaste and stuff, you're just
Right, making a mess.
spraying spit everywhere. But it works really well. I haven't charged it at all since
it's
that time.
It is. It says 35 days on their website, so that's a pretty bold claim.
Yeah,
pretty lofty battery life.
Yep. But if you think you're only using it, twice to maybe 3 times a day, depending. But yeah, it charges. There's a base station, and then it came with a little adapter that you can put on the wall to magnetically hang it on the wall. I'm not using that. It's just sitting on a shelf. But yeah, I plugged it in and then have been using it, and it works great. It feels comfortable. Doesn't feel. I think I am a person that tends to press pretty hard.
Yeah.
And you can see the head flex a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything like that.
Okay.
It's very comparable, I guess, as far as size to most toothbrushes. It's not like jumbo. It's not like really small either.
Sure.
Feels like it has enough range of bristles, kind of, that you're not missing anything.
Nice.
The oral irrigator is a little bit different of a story. It works well. You have to learn how to use it, I guess, the best way to use it, because there are different modes.
Yeah.
It'll do like a pulsating, it'll do a spray, it'll do like a one pulse and then another pulse. It has a couple different things it'll do. And if you don't know what you have set on, you could press the button and it'll spray some water, and then you take it out and it just sprays again.
Sure.
I don't know if I expected maybe at the start, if you hit start, there would be like a little timer, but there's not. It's basically when you press it, the water starts squirting out. And it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Like, it's more powerful than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like a nice little rinse, but it's like
almost like a flossing kind of get in there and clean.
Yeah, and they have 5 different attachments, 5 different ends that are real easy. You press a button, pull it out, and you can swap them very easily. But they have different ends for different things. One that's like makes it a very tiny stream for like a flossing. One that's more of general rinse. One that looks kind of like a shield.
Yeah.
If you want to do like a front rinse maybe or something like that. But even there, I mean, you'd have to keep it pretty close or it's going to spray and just spray right back out of your mouth. It's not a bad part of it that it's so powerful. It's just something to get used to.
Sure.
It caught me off guard. But it works just as described. Same thing. I haven't charged it since I started using them. That says, I think it has a 30-day battery also.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, the oral irrigator, I don't know if you would necessarily have to use it. It could be one of those things where, I was always, never used like a rinse cup or anything.
Sure.
I just, brush with toothpaste and then brush with water.
A little bit
swish it around and that's it. So yeah, it's a cool thing. I don't know if it's needed. Maybe if you get a certain system down, it might be helpful. What it could be honestly helpful for is if you're eating something that's easy to get stuck in your teeth, like popcorn or something like that.
Yep.
Having some sort of water floss machine, it's one of those things that you don't think of ever getting until you have one, and then you're like, oh,
go get the thing. I got
a piece of popcorn stuck in my teeth.
Yep.
So yeah, that's another maybe use case I thought of.
Yeah.
But
so as a brand, you're not familiar with it,
right?
Really prior to receiving any of these products, is it something that you think you would recommend to other people?
The toothbrush, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the price on the toothbrush is what?
I think it's $80.
$80, yeah, $79.99.
Has a 2-year warranty too.
Yeah, it has a 2-year warranty, and as far as we've tested some other electronic toothbrushes. I had one before that was fine. This one is better.
Sure.
It just is better. I think it maybe cost $10 more, something like that, if I remember correctly. But $80 is a very comparable price point with other things I've seen at Target or Walmart or whatever like that. But yeah, it works really well for $80. I think it's if you're looking for a toothbrush, this has the full color display, the super long battery life. The you don't have to actually you're not plugging anything in to the device. I think that's another change is
you're docking it.
Yeah, so there's no open water ports, potential for any water damage on it. So I think that's a plus.
Yeah, because that ends up making this like IPX7 resistant too. So it's designed to get wet. So you could use this thing in the shower without feeling like you're getting water in somewhere you shouldn't be.
Right. Yeah. So because I've seen a lot of them that have just a plug on the bottom where you plug to charge it, and those are generally the cheaper ones.
Yep.
But and the oral irrigator is one of those things that I think if it's intriguing to you, if that's something that you're like, oh, I think I would like that, this one works great.
Yeah,
I have no qualms, recommending it.
Okay,
but it's one of those things that for me, I don't know if I would actually ever need.
Sure.
It just so happened we got them both in a package.
Yep.
So we're going to try them together to see how they work.
Awesome. And those are both from Oclean.
Oclean.
Yep. Oclean.
Yep.
Thank you, Luke.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.